BT's Soulcatcher 2025 implants. A report has revealed that scientists working for British Telecom are currently developing a new microchip that will be ready for use in the year 2025. The microchip's future tech design will mean that, when implanted in the skull just behind the eye, it will be able to record a person's every thought, experience, and sensation. Hence its name, Soulcatcher 2025. This is the end of death, Dr. Chris Winter of British Telecom's Artificial Life team claimed. He went on to explain that the implant will enable scientists to record other people's lives and play back their experiences on a computer. By combining this information with a record of a person's genes, Dr. Winter said, we would create a person physically, emotionally, and spiritually. He went on to say, the implanted chip would be like an aircraft's black box and would enhance communications beyond current concepts. For example, police will be able to use it to relive an attack, rape, or murder from the victim's viewpoint to help catch the criminal.
He's been identified on the Metro. The train makes 2 stops at 20th and 33rd.
Send units to each location.
Never make 20th.
Have faith.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation. We have, same thing. We have drones. We just, if there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop. A drone goes out there, get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple.
For example, police will be able to use it to relive an attack, rape, or murder from the victim's viewpoint to help catch the criminal. I could even play back the smells, sounds, and sights of my holiday to my friends. According to reports in the Daily Telegraph and the Daily Mail, July 1996, other more frightening applications of the Soulcatcher implant could include downloading a lifetime's experiences from an older person's brain and transplanting them into a newborn baby. And there are other, even more serious issues involved here, not the least of which are those surrounding the flagrant violation of human rights.
Soulcatcher.
In the early 1990s, we realized that computers would get incredibly clever, and this would be a big threat unless we could actually figure out some way of keeping up with the machines. And the obvious way of keeping up with the machines is to be able to make a direct connection between our brains and the machine world. So we thought, well, how can you do that? You can't stick a DIN socket into the back of your head. That isn't going to work very well. But then lots of people started talking about nanotechnology and self-replicating devices, and we thought, well, at some point in the distant future, say 2030, 2040, who knows, you should be able to get an injection into your arm with a few nanotechnology devices which would wander up to your brain and start connecting to every single neuron. And there's enough address space, and even in IP version 6, the internet addressing system, you can address signals to every single neuron individually in your brain. In fact, every neuron in the entire planet, everybody's brain, you can send signals to. So we've got a means, in principle, of connecting electronic devices to every brain cell in your head. Therefore, you can take an exact replica of your brain, so I could have Ian Pearson Mark II living inside my PC in 2030, and I could have all of my thoughts backed up on there, all of my memories backed up, and if I get run down by a bus, it doesn't matter. It's not a career problem because I've got a backup on the network. So this is a wonderful concept for the future. We call it Soul Catcher, effectively capturing my entire mind and dumping it on a chip, well, notionally a chip, and I would have another existence in cyberspace. Unfortunately, a lot of the media have misunderstood. They thought we were doing this next year, but it's actually sort of 25, 30 years away, unless we get some very big breakthroughs in technology between now and then. At some point in the distant future, say 2030, 2040, who knows, you should be able to get an injection into your arm with a few nanotechnology devices which would wander up to your brain and start connecting to every single neuron. And there's enough address space, and even in IP version 6, the internet addressing system, you can address signals to every single neuron individually in your brain. In fact, every neuron in the entire planet, everybody's brain, you can send signals to. So we've got a means, in principle, of connecting electronic devices to every brain cell in your head.
We're talking about improving biology and redesigning organisms for beneficial purposes. It's going to allow us to not just edit genomes, but also, and importantly, write a new code for life. Write a new code for life. We'll have write-level permissions. We already started to see some of that this year. COVID-19 vaccines, they make use of engineered code. COVID-19 vaccines, they make use of engineered code in the form of messenger RNA.
This project started because the government was interested in developing better ways for us to connect to the brain. So we have this massive amount of data coming in, massive amount of data trying to go out. And they've been thinking, how can we make it more efficient for us to communicate? Normally, when we think about tapping into people's brains, we're like, whoa, hold on a minute. Like, I don't want to have some kind of surgical implant or microchip or something like that. And it's really not a viable way forward if we're just talking about a healthy subject or a healthy person, a healthy soldier trying to control his or her drone better. And so, given this fact that we want to be able to communicate more quickly with our external device, we don't want to have surgery. Can we come up with a non-surgical way, an external device, a helmet, a hat, that would allow us to capture signals from the brain and stimulate the brain as though we were sitting in front of a monitor? And that's the big idea, this non-surgical neural interface. So it sounds a little wacky. Is this even possible? And so we began by simply looking at what are the physical processes we could use? What are the techniques that might give us the ability to communicate with the brain through the skull? So we started this in a very exploratory phase, and we looked at how we might be able to use magnetic fields and how we might be able to use light. Both of these things can penetrate the skull, and we wanted to understand if signals from the magnetic field and from light would allow us to record and stimulate the brain.
As the magnet turns on, the flies are stimulated, so we're working to stimulate their brain using nanoparticles that I've already injected into the flies.
Have you heard of the Internet of Bio-Nano Things? Well, let's get educated on it because it's literally about to be inside of our bodies. President Trump supported and invested today $500 billion into the Stargate project down in Texas. And this is to beef up our AI infrastructure. In doing so, they are also talking about personalized mRNA vaccines. First off, we won't talk about how mRNA is destroying people's bodies, and it is not a proven technology. We will talk about this Internet of Nano things that is needed to communicate with the mRNA. So let me read you a little something here. Nanoscale biological devices are integrated into the human body, enabling communication between these devices and external systems. We also won't talk about those huge towers that went up all over the country in 2020. This technology blends biology, nanotechnology, and internet, literally communicating with the body through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, creating a new layer of connectivity within living organisms. Essentially, it aims to allow the monitoring and manipulation of biological systems in real time using advanced sensors, nano-sized robots, and other nano devices that can be injected or implanted into the body. Nevertheless, this technology is here. They want to be able to communicate with you through Wi-Fi and Bluetooth